Hello, and welcome to the Spiral Dimension. I'm Doctor Von Hoot, and this is the Parliament of Mowls. But first, battered lockers and hooked, one open with a finger, extended from beneath his load. He saw, but gave no significance to the big T scratched into the paint on the door.
Don't you think that's kind of weird? Not weird, but like exciting weird.
Tell me more, tell me more.
And with that, I do declare this episode of Parliament open.
You all right?
You're here.
Evening, Tony. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. You know, we've been off for a couple of weeks. What was last week? No, was it? Yeah, last week was Comics Curing Cancer.
No,
week before that.
Weekend before that. Yeah. So two
that.
weeks we've been away. Okie dokie. Who we got in the chat? Well, it's Las Cruces. And you.
Hello there.
And KBDM. How you doing, sir? Right. I feel like we should probably get this show started. We had a good quote there. I felt like we learned a lot about whatever that situation was. So let's have a look for this slide. Because you know you can't do it without a slide.
Nah.
What watch you with your eyeballs this week, Tony?
Well, for the last 2 weeks, I have been watching a lot of spooky season stuff. I've been watching the remake of Salem's Lot. I watched the original Salem's Lot. I watched, which is not connected to spooky season. I watched Clerks 3, which was really cool. And I just finished a marathon of Scream.
Tremendous. Clerks 3. That's an interesting one. Mm-hmm. I love and hate it. Like, I think it's the least funny of, like, maybe all of Kevin Smith's movies. It's just like none of the comedy works for me. And I want to say it's the Elias character just is annoying as hell in it.
He is.
Like, he's
he is
awful. But Brian O'Halloran's like really, really going for the Oscar in his acting scenes as Dante, and like I think he is wonderful. I love the emotional stuff in that movie. So it's like on the one hand awful comedy, but on the other, really, really quite poignant, you know. And it felt good.
I think when you see the Clerks movies, because if you think about it, you know, one came out in the 90s, one came out in the early 2000s, and one came out, you know, just a few years ago. Kevin, it's like the movies changed with Kevin's viewpoints, you know, the way he is at that point in time. And I will say that Clerks 3, honestly, at the ending was the first time that I almost cried watching a Kevin Smith film. So, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, that's strong praise.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be.
There's a bit of me that thinks, sorry to cut you off there, Tony, but
no, that's fine. That's fine.
There's a bit of me that thinks part of his comedy's problems right now is that he's doing all his jokes all the time, you know, like because he's such the personality himself, so you don't really like. There's nothing really new in his comedy in the movies, if you see what I mean. It's I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, and you know the part like in Clerks 3 where Randall having the heart attack. You know that mirrors his own real life heart attack. Yeah. So I mean that was pretty interesting, and the fact that the movie that Randall's making is basically Clerks. So I mean, it was good to see a lot of the like to see Victoria again. That was her name. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Marion Gigliotti is the actor.
I couldn't think of her name.
Yeah, like it has its like ups and down moments. It's probably my least favorite of the Clerks movies. Let's put it that way. But it's watchable.
That's fair.
Let's talk Scream for a minute then, because I'm very familiar with the Scream franchise.
Oh yeah.
What did you think? Because you told me just before we went on air you hadn't seen the last two,
The last three. I didn't watch 4,
Last
5, and
three.
6.
right?
A lot of that. I mean, I love the first three. A lot of people didn't care for 3, which I still liked it. I mean, apparently when they made the movie, they loved Creed. But when they announced 4 when it come out, I was like, you know what? I thought that they should have ended it with 3, so I refused to watch 4. And then they made 5, and then they made 6, and then my daughters, Tony, they said, "Daddy, those movies are really good." So, having bought the set, I figured this year I was going to sit down and watch all of them. And it's very hard to find a franchise that lasts for so long, and every movie is a solid entry. I mean, they're all good. So, I mean, and like we said backstage, I'll put 4 up there with 1. I mean, 4 was, like you said, is easily the best sequel out of the whole series.
Yeah. I think I struggled a little bit with the 6th one because it gets really silly at the end. Like, characters do really dumb things, but
Yeah.
I still like it. Doesn't live up to the higher standards that I had. High standards when you're talking about slasher films is really dumb. But I love that franchise as a whole, though.
When you talk about Scream 5, when they had the Richie character in there, it took me a minute to realize that he played that guy in The Boys. So, I mean.
Yeah. It's very cool. What was the other stuff that you said? Scream.
There was Scream. I watched the remake of Salem's Lot, the new one that came out, and the original one from the 70s.
See, I have never seen Salem's Lot. It's on my list of things to do, and it has been forever. But I never got around to it.
I believe. Well, I don't know how it is. I don't know if you can get the apps in Europe, but I know they're on the Max, either on Max or Paramount Plus. All 3.
Right.
The remake, the Return to Salem's Lot, and the new one or the old one. I didn't watch Return to Salem's Lot because I didn't see it. I don't remember watching it. And when I read the premieres and that Stephen King had nothing to do with it, I went, okay, I don't want to watch it then.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on them? How would you rank them?
The Salem Lots remake is good. The remake is good, but watching it with my wife's read the book. I've never read the book. To my knowledge, I don't remember. If I say I don't remember reading it, I probably didn't read it. So I would say I actually like the one from the 70s more because it seemed like it was just more. I mean, you had the guy that was in Starsky and Hutch. What was his name? His name is escaping me right now. Any other time I could have told you. But he played the main character, and I just liked it. It was pretty cool. And my wife said that the original one went more with the book than the remake did.
Right.
Okay. But the remake is good. I mean, if you've never watched any of them or read the books and just watched the remake, I think you'd enjoy it.
Am I right in thinking that the original is a TV movie, or is it like a 2-part thing that they put together?
It was 3 hours long. It was a television movie.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll have a look because I do love a good vampire movie, so I should check it out. It's on my list of things to do. Yeah.
So what did you watch?
I myself, what I watched with my eyeballs this week. Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit because this was last Saturday. I saw Transformers 1 because it finally came out in the UK. Like, we had to wait, I don't know, a month to get it over here.
But that doesn't seem fair.
And it's really unusual nowadays for that to happen. But back when I was a kid, it would happen all the time. Like I remember a discussion. The Transformers '86 movie came out like well over half a year before it came out here.
Yeah.
But,
well, isn't it weird that in some films, it'll come out in the U.S. before it comes out in the U.K., but in other films, it'll come out in the U.K. before it comes out in the U.S.
It's very strange. It should be everybody at any one time. I think it's.
I was gonna say, correct me if I'm.
Came out of the darkness in the middle of the night, blazing like a mother with a fist of dynamite.
There he is.
Howdy, sir.
Hoot, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't the Bond movies come out in the UK before they do the US?
They might do, but there won't be a lot in it if they do.
How you doing,
How you
Cliff?
doing, Cliff?
Hello. Good. To my knowledge, at least until recent years, often movies were coming out in the UK before they were coming out here.
Interesting. That certainly didn't happen back in like the VHS days. The VHS
No,
days,
because
had to
we didn't
wait
have the
forever,
internet.
but-
Then we
Yeah.
had the internet, and all of a sudden, everyone became aware at the same time, and they're like, "Ooh, the foreign market! Oh, the foreign market!" You know. So it's like we must release the Black Panther in China. Do everything you must, and like, you know, and it's just you bend over backwards for nearly every dollar. Then you go, "Oh, do we want to lose 250 million because we're gonna have a lesbian kiss?" You know, good Lord, I don't have enough to drink. Welcome, hi, Parliament.
Are you well, sir? What are we drinking tonight?
Who the fuck is well in 2024? You know, I'm like,
I'll go.
right now I'm having a Coke Zero. A minute ago I finished this. I don't know. Huh?
I'll go you one better. Who has been well anytime?
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
I have fond memories of 2009, and I have some fond memories of 2017, and 2016 was a good year. That was a good year in my life as a whore. And then like, well, I mean, my life is a slut. Nobody paid me. I mean, those were some good. I think I feel like even years used to be pretty good to me. You know, 2016 slapped everybody around, and I think that's why I really dove into slutdom. It was like my release from the world, and I didn't have as comics weren't just weren't doing it for me.
Oh.
Another one.
Oh boy, Higgins hitting us with his DJ Khaled impression. Nice.
Rob,
Hello, sir.
Say his
Hello.
name and he appears.
Yeah. Tremendous. Okay,
Who should I say then?
I don't know. That's
I know.
an interesting
Who do you
experiment. Might
want to
work.
appear, Cliff?
you know what? This is super selfish. I would want Chris to appear, but he's healing, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you know what? Well, I really had a great time with Nate this morning. I'd love for Hall to appear. But
Okay then. So you are not well, but you're all right. Cliff is all right. We'll go with that. Yeah. Rob, how are you, sir?
I'm here? Question mark?
Okay, so you're not even ducky today. I'm.
Yeah, you
it
know,
must
I'm gonna be that way, I guess maybe soon. I mean,
I
my wife
suppose.
my wife and son chose to do me a solid, and they loaded up the car with all the packages, and they went to the post office.
that's
So
cool.
all 95% of the packages are away now. So it's
Wow.
just now primarily you and Australia.
Yeah, there's absolutely no rush for me. I
No,
trust you 100%. So I'm not going to bother you in the slightest.
I was going to
Well,
say,
I
Rob,
just
I
wanna
bet
say,
you're
like,
exhausted.
It is a Herculean effort to get all that out in the time you did as a one man packing machine.
It's that, and you know, there's a lot of effort you got to go into just reconciling things, because
Yeah.
things are sold on so many different shows, and people enter who won it as very different names, and people enter their payment in a different name, and you know, I don't think anyone can appreciate really how much goes into that aspect, just getting it ready to pick and pull. Then of course there's the process of trying to pull all these orders and make sure you get them right. And invariably, no matter how many times I've done this now, fortunately, I generally don't put stuff in people's boxes that don't belong. It's more, you know, after I've packed somebody's box, then later on I find something that had their name on it, and I go, oh, is that going to fit in that box? Do I have to open it back up, or do I have to send a second package? You know, those types of fun things. But
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and yours, I
you're
don't know.
getting-
You're probably going to end up getting 2 parcels because I don't think I can.
Yeah, I mean, I apologize
Not
for the
because it's-
shipping fee on that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not
you're
so much
right,
that it's
there's more
like-
stuff.
It's not so much that it's just that much. It's just that it's the size of a couple items, and I have I only have certain boxes.
Yeah.
Right. I don't, and I don't. I try to match people, get the right stuff for people. Anyways,
Yeah, fair enough.
let's talk about you.
then. Yes, because I'm a delight. I'll tell you why. Because I have 2 weeks off starting today, so I'm very excited.
Gosh darn tootin'.
Yeah.
So
Everybody else is at work or school?
Yeah, they are for the next
So-
week. They are anyway, so I get a whole week
So-
off. Just
So at least
hanging
week
around.
to just you.
Yeah.
To
So-
I
do
think we're gonna
Mowl
do some
things.
sleeping.
I was gonna
I
say
said,
the
there's a Mowl on the loose, and he's going to do Mowl things.
I was gonna say the question is, what does a Mal do when he has 2 weeks off?
He sleeps at night. Like, that's the main thing. Or I'll end up watching bad horror movies. Is probably what is going to happen.
Well, it is October, so
Yeah, tis the season, as it were.
right.
All right, so Cliff, what watch you with your eyeballs this week?
Well, first and foremost, Agatha.
Yes.
And and I watched Vox Machina season 3. So very happy with that. My favorite. It is good. So for those of you who are unaware, Vox Machina is based off of the Critical Role, Dungeons and Dragons adventure. Their first-ish one or like second-ish one, and then of course for reasons, season 1 the story starts off like later in their gaming days. So like technically they're all like level 9 or 11 when we meet them, because they're having some fairly high-powered adventures like as soon as we meet them, and in real life, I guess there was a lot of complications on the road from day 1 to where they were like a well-established group with this particular gallery of voice actors who are the particular gallery of voice actors who work together now and are producers on the show. So we start from there, and it quickly delves into the origins of one of the characters and the horrific, monstrous couple that took over his town. And then season 2 is like they defeated Dragon in season 1, and guess what? His buddies want revenge, and then that's the cliffhanger for season 2. Season 2 is just trying to prepare to fight them. Season 3, it's the road to the final battle and the final battle, which it's never the final battle in Dungeons and Dragons. It's so I loved it. Had a great time, and it's good that hours and hours upon hours of that show is too much for me. I mean, not the show, the podcast or whatever you want to call it. It's too much for me. So like nothing's ruined for me. Everything was like, oh my goodness, because like I wasn't one of those hardcore dedicated fans who watched 400,000 hours of YouTube and role playing.
I have watched little bits of that, maybe like 20 minutes of them playing it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I'd rather just watch whatever Vox Machina's like.
Yeah. In the meantime, just by the way, playing, even though playing is awful to watch for some people love it. Obviously, Critical Role. But I have a hard time. I love running a game. I have a very hard time watching it. Because all I'm thinking is I'd rather be playing.
Right. Okay. I've done a little bit of playing. Oh, we got a message from Phil here. Ooh. Well, thank you very much for purchasing one, sir. That's very nice of you. Yes. I don't have that much experience playing it, but I did a campaign with a friend. I liked it, but I'm not I don't like maths and stats and stuff, so it
Don't let that stop you.
Well,
it's so
the bit I liked about it is the creativeness of it. Like for instance, I had a bow tie. Like my character had a bow tie because I'm me. I liked that I could do that. But there was a lot of other stuff that I did that I really shouldn't say on the internet. Is that all you've been watching?
I mean that's it, and I'm hooked on Agatha. They finally,
yes.
finally.
Have you seen
got around
the latest
origin.
episode? No spoilers. I love that episode. I thought it was great.
Absolutely, so love it. So happy with the origin of Billy revealed.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, and I will argue to the death that it's a good series. Like, it's not the best series or anything, but it's good. Like, it's well worth watching.
It's well worth. I am very entertained, and the Ballad of the Witch's Road is a jam. All right.
Yeah, it's a banger. Yeah.
You know,
I had Badger next to me just rocking out to it when they were playing it in the episode.
Oh, you know, I played that shit on the way to work in the morning. Down the road, down the Witch's Road. Yeah, I'm all the way to work. I'm like, whoa.
Okay, brilliant. Rob, watch you with your eyeballs, or has your eyeballs just been watching packages?
Mostly packages of parcels to be shipped, not of young gentlemen or anything. Yeah. Exact Cliff's all. Do tell.
I'm like, all I can tell you is UPS days are very exciting at work.
So waiting for the water delivery. No,
the water guy's okay.
Well, I only have had a little bit of breaks because my feet were killing me and stuff. So I watched obviously Monday Night Wrestling. I have to get caught up with the rest of it. For some reason I decided to watch Dr. Odyssey, and I've watched the first 3 episodes of that have come out. It's an ABC show, and it's really just like, yeah, it's a doctor show, but he's on a cruise ship, and not a big cruise ship. They're on one of these smaller super luxury cruise ships, and so each week it's a different theme of passengers that come on, and of course little medical ailments that go along with that, and the interplay of the doctor and his nurses, and of course there's a little love triangle thing going on, and wackiness ensues.
I have no idea what this is. Is this a drama? What's
it's a bit of a drama.
It's a medical drama, but it's more about the people's lives than it is necessarily about it's not like a medical drama like normally when we think of, like, some of these medical dramas where it's all about trying to solve these great medical mysteries or something. No. It's mostly the drama of these people's lives. They just happen to be a medical team. The central team is a medical team on a super luxury yacht, essentially. And so they live this luxurious style in cabins that make probably your flat look like it's small, but the the last episode was like, the whole theme was like plastic surgery week, so everyone who was just coming off of plastic surgery on the ship, so all these different little ailments of like somebody doing cocaine while they're had a nose job and their nose falls off, and like but
I'm just first of all, Joshua Jackson, all right, how is he still so good looking at 46? I love it. He just looks fantastic.
Is he the guy from the Dawson?
Oh, he is the guy he is the other guy from the Dawson. Yes,
he's Pacey, right? Yeah, okay.
That's it. This man could be stealing your wife for the last 26 years. And
this is the doctor?
The doctor, yes. He just broke up with Lupita Nyong'o, and every man I know clutched their wife like, baby, don't leave me to go chase Joshua Jackson. I don't know what kind of magic he is. He gives off some very playful BDE, and I am here for it. That
is very much his character on the show too. I mean, it's like everybody's interested in him, and They even had this most recent episode. There was like this kind of like little ambiguous kind of relationship type thing going on with him and this guy who was known as the living Ken doll, because the whole backstory of this character is like he was like some super doctor, Harvard doctor, invented this or whatever, but he ended up being like patient 0 or something, like or patient 1, 0.1 of COVID, early days of COVID, when people didn't know what was going on with it. And he ends up nearly dying in isolation and stuff, and decides that he's done with all that stuff and wants to kind of do, I don't know, for some reason it's like captured my imagination a little bit, and I've gotten a little dirty pleasure,
and don't forget,
guilty pleasure.
The captain is Don Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, it's got the 80s, it's got the 90s, it's got everything happening in there.
Yeah. So so that's what it popped up on my Hulu feed, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me give it a look. What the hell? It's the series. It's only like 3 episodes in. It's like a regular ABC series.
Oh, right.
So
it's new.
So yeah. So it's new. So yeah, that's what I watched this week.
Very good. Oh, I like it. So yes, I watched with my eyeballs this week. Well, it was technically last Saturday, as I was saying, Transformers 1. And I am comfortable in saying that it is probably the best Transformers movie there's ever been.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! Are we including
Yeah, we are. We're including 86, which is like 86 will always be my favorite of the.
But it's not a great movie in reality.
Well, it's a toy commercial at the end of the day and a series of action-driven stuff. And it only really has character development because of the 100+ episodes of TV beforehand, because you only know those characters from that. Oh, we've got Madam there. Hello. Yeah, it's so... I think fundamentally... and I'm not going to do any spoilers because I know a lot of people haven't seen it yet, despite they definitely should. It's worth a cinema trip if you can. It's actually coming out digital on Tuesday, so if you haven't seen it, you can buy it on digital. Fundamentally, it's better than everything else because it is very character driven. It's about the characters primarily of Optimus Prime and Megatron, and they are the central characters, and it's all about their character development as well as some fun action stuff and some comedy, but like that's fundamentally why it's the best. Even if you look at the movies, the live action movies, I'd say Bumblebee is the best movie there, and it has the best characterization as well, but that's for Carly, not really Bumblebee. Bumblebee is like a dog, really. He's like a naughty puppy for most of that movie. It doesn't have much character development for Bumblebee, but Carly's character arc is quite rich, and it's a much better feeling film than the other ones. However, in this one, we've just got Transformers, and because of that, their character development is at the forefront, and I cannot say enough nice good things about it. I think it's wonderful. And when I came out of it, I was like, that was awesome. But thinking about it ever since, I can't wait to watch it again. Is the gist of it.
Now I gotta watch it.
Yeah. Larry agrees with me. What else did I watch? Well, I've been watching a lot of slasher movies this week. Interesting experience I had yesterday, because I've been very sort of guarded with horror movies and Badger, because I love horror movies and I know everybody knows I love horror movies, but I don't want to introduce her too early to them. And I thought, well, yesterday's pick in my Slashtober, I went, last year we did the real classics, the Universal classics. We did Frankenstein and Dracula.
The creature feature type stuff is generally safe for the young
Exactly. She loved those, and then last night we did Valentine, which I would say is sort of beginner horror, like slasher horror. It's pretty tame by
Psycho would be
slasher
another
movie
good one.
standards. It's fun, but you know,
Yeah, I would do Psycho because there's nothing
I don't know whether
actual.
she's seen that or not. You're right.
Because
I would have shown that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a great kind of that it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't want to call it true horror, but as far as like that type of movie,
I
there's
don't know,
nothing
like that. It ratchets up the suspense. I mean, I'd say that's as close to horror as Hitchcock ever got. I mean, it's
right, and
it's
and there's
right
nothing in there that's slashery.
I mean, the
or,
birds
suggested.
Is up
Yeah.
yeah, the birds as well is quite dark. Yeah, I mean, and actually, Frenzy is I think was his last movie. That's actually pretty brutal. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll ask her and see if she's seen it because I feel like I've shown it to her, but I don't remember doing it. So that's a good shout. I love Psycho. It's a wonderful film.
Even the remake of that
another
one
thing.
wasn't awful, but
No, but it was sort of pointless. Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's what the problem with it is. It sort
yeah,
of,
when you do
that
a
was
shot for shot remake,
exactly. That was the first date I ever went on with Mrs. Von Hoot when we were 16, no 15, maybe I just turned 16. I don't know. Around then, it was a long time ago. But
and I was saying it was that long ago. I said, "Man, you're young."
well, I mean that was
It's fair.
I'm what 42 now, something like that.
So you know the meaning of life, or you are the meaning of life.
I am, yeah. I feel like there was another thing I wanted to talk about, but Transformers 1 really had me excited.
Well, you were saying you were talking about your Slashtober and picking the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you can read all about that on my Instagram as I do my bad reviews of them. But I won't go through all of them because some of them are genuinely really good, some of them are genuinely really fun, and some of them are just plain awful. So swings and roundabouts, but it's always a fun time of year. I love Slashtober, and I think this is the 9th year I've been doing it, and I've not missed a day of watching a slasher movie in October in 9 years. So, like, does that matter? No, but I like to keep that in my head as some sort of achievement because, well, life is meaningless and everybody dies.
That's what they say.
my line behind camera. How dare you?
Okie dokie. Let's add this to the stage and go with what read you this week, Tony. What read you?
All right. Well, as blasphemous as it may sound, I have not read a comic in 2 weeks because I've been reading. I finished R.A. Salvatore's Timeless. It's the 30-something Driss novel in the series, and it was really good. It started a new trilogy. I really enjoy it, and trying to get caught up. And I'm currently reading book 2, Boundless, and then hopefully I'll get back to reading some comics. That's what I want, and that's what I've read.
Is that the last one, or is there many more?
No. There's 2 more in this set and another trilogy, and it's called the Way of the Drow trilogy. Altogether, the Driss series is at 39 novels.
Wow,
So
that's nuts. That's a lot of reading.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I could do that, but fair play to you.
so, I mean, to be honest, it's over 35 years. So I mean,
yeah, fair enough. And that's all you've been reading?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I've been reading.
Okay, cool. Cliff, what read you with your eyeballs this week?
I'm glad you asked. First, we got this lovely, what I like to call a quiet issue of Wonder Woman, or I don't even know. It's like it's a take a breather issue. You know, we're having a moment. It's like Absolute Power just ended. You know, stuff is happening. The Trinity is finally born, and we learn her true origin. Hi, Kenneth. That's this issue. Like, it's happening. And I approve. And some people are a little bit upset about the characterization of Wonder Woman, Bruce, Clark. And you know what? No one really nails their dynamics perfectly. So like, I don't feel like so off the rails here that it's worth complaining about. Oh, love this series. I'm a little sad that I felt Absolute Power. This series suffered because of the freaking crossover, you know. But otherwise, I mean, even with the crossover, I still think absolute banger in my mind. All right, then, because I love a comic book with a gay lead, Summer Shadows Part 2. You know, gay twink twunk boy trapped on an island of vampires who want him. Intrigue, mystique, mysticism. Everything is there. Sexiness, the hot cop who's trying to help him or may help him or they'll hook up. I don't know, but I love it. Every page. And vampires. I just reread The Death of Supergirl. This is the blank cover for Crisis number 7. And of course, like I picked it up. So I was like, well, why don't I just go through it again? And I don't know why I do it to myself. And I read Crisis like once a year. And why? So I could cry every time Supergirl and Barry die. Every time. And Supergirl hits me the freaking hardest from the moment that Clark screams out in pain and she hears him and she's like, he needs me. And she starts flying through, smashing everything. And the narrative says, you know, Kara Zor-El is aware of whatever could bring her cousin pain, surely could destroy her, but she cares not because she's a hero. From that moment to I knew how to be brave because you showed me how. I lose it. I am in fucking tears every time. I'm out of my mind. Cryptic Shadows. So again, another fun anthology story. I just really love this cover. The book was okay, but you know what? How can I resist Scarlet Witch? And of course, young Agatha is like your crypt keeper in here. So there's that. And the Christopher Chaos Halloween special. All right. Again, I love a queer lead. Thank you. And then I got some Annihilation Conquest. All right. There's a planet of vampires. You know, I don't know. Is it a coincidence that we're in October and we get into Conquest 2099 and Dracula's involved and there's a planet of vampires? I don't know. But I'm very excited. And of course, Black Panther wants to help cure Miles. So he shows up and brings him a vibranium suit to begin his treatment. So love this too. So that is what I've read. I hope you all appreciate those little highlights. It was a good week. And Jenny Sparks. Don't forget Jenny Sparks. Great miniseries.
I mean, I think I know the answer to this. Rob, what's read you this week?
Shipping labels.
Shipping labels, yes.
Lots and lots of shipping labels.
I mean, I believe that. I was trying to remember what I read this week, and it, for some reason, my list won't load on my phone. It's driving me mad. The one thing that I do remember is Batman. I say I remember. I don't remember the title of the book. Full Moon. Batman Full Moon. The Black Label. It's basically Batman against there you go. Batman against
a werewolf.
And I should on paper love that, but the interior art really didn't do it for me. I mean, really didn't do it for me. Which I was very disappointed because I was so ready for it to the point where I don't think I'm going to get issue 2. Yeah, I know there's something else I read, but I cannot remember it, and it won't load on my phone. So that's that. Sad times, really. Like I not done a lot of reading this week, which is always bad. So then we move on to Mal question time. I'm a Mowl. A Mowl. Half man, half owl. Yes, Mal question time.
Are you your own Hooters?
I mean, I've definitely got a pair of Hooters. Just ask anybody that sees me in real life.
It's so you can make more money when you're dancing.
I don't see that happening, but nobody wants that. Like, I mean, I'd have to set up an OnlyFans.
I don't know. You
Save that.
little my milkshake brings all the.
Save
Yeah,
that
If
for,
you want to see mine, onlyfans.com/Cliff on Comics.
save that for only Mowls.
Yes, Mal question time. I was thinking about this yesterday. When was it? It was Friday, I think, when they dropped the Peach Momoko Spawn variant at New York Comic Con, and they seem to have had a riot again.
Oh my god! Of course, yo, and also, how dare anyone anymore? What do you need? What do you need to learn about anything? I do not understand. Her first New York Comic Con was a nightmare. Now, to my understanding of the nature of this incident, it was a private thing, like a particular booth was having her do a signing. But you've heard, and I realize that maybe it's like your first time or something, but I doubt it. It doesn't sound like this was anybody's first time. How do you not prepare? How do you not prepare and keep her safe? But anyhow, please tell the story, because I'm all on board. I'm all jacked.
Well, I guess my question was actually that: how do they prevent this from happening again? Because it's happened twice now. And it shouldn't have happened the first time.
The first time was at her own booth, and nobody was prepared, right? And as much as people think it's ugly when I throw around the word gatekeeping, we as a community, there's a time and a place for gatekeeping, and we keep missing our window, right? And we learn nothing. I'll never forget the morning of New York Comic Con 2022. I saw the line for Peach. I'm with Sam, and he's dying to meet her. He's like, well, I don't want to stand in that line. And I'm looking at dudes in line. I'm like, look at these guys with their carts. I'm like, they're the most obnoxious people usually, the ones who bring full carts to the con, because 9 times out of 10 or 90 times out of 100, if I'm going to be that guy, they are the ones who are like, I brought 75 books for you to sign, and I expect it because I paid to be here. Anyhow, chaos ensued. And so this time they started a line. They had to 100% move the line. And that's when the chaos started, right? So whoever thought it's going to be perfectly okay to move the line that we started hours ago, listen, I don't know what you were trying to do. I don't know if it was a fire hazard. All I know is hell broke loose. Fisticuffs were involved. I was like, I can't wait to watch YouTube channel after YouTube channel do their rendition of it. They won't learn because they don't care about money. I mean, but you know what? But when people don't want to spend their money with you because people got broken noses in the process, you're gonna learn that. You're gonna learn that. So maybe this is gonna be the time.
I mean, you'd probably be the best to ask with this. Why is this happening so often at New York Comic Con rather than, or does it happen everywhere and I'm just not aware of it?
It's one of the most overpopulated freaking events you'll ever attend, right? So Friday, Saturday, super crazy days to be there, right? And you get people from all over, all right? And as you know, there's 2 things that are true. Cultures are different, but as the Twilight Zone taught me at a very young age, people are the same everywhere, right? So the minute that there's some misunderstanding or sense of confrontation, things start to go wildly off the rails. So, and again, and this is me being that guy about the gatekeeping, I watched things unfold over the many years, like going to a show at age 13 in Boston and meeting Mike Mignola and meeting Mark Bagley and all that stuff, and going to a show now is so wildly different, and also, again, kind of the same, the whole I want to talk when I'm meeting writers, artists, etc. Like I've gotten way better about it. I was a bumbling idiot child, at 13. And now I'm just, a very fresh 46-year-old. But like 2017 was a very rough time. That whole incident with Terry Dodson and Rachel, his wife, being lured into making a special Wonder Woman piece for a guy saying that his little sister was dying of cancer, only for Rachel to find it on eBay Saturday night after they had completed it, was just so disgusting, you know? And that was not
that's the lowest of the low sort of level of griftery.
And I've been using that story a lot this year. I've been bringing it up a lot because it was not the beginning of the shift of everyone doing like, okay, well, $10 for a signature or whatever, but that was a breaking point, right? Like from my perspective, from that year forward, it amplified it, suddenly it was turning into, it's going to be $20 a signature unless you want to do 3 or more, then I'll cut you a break. Or it'll be $20 a signature unless you're going to buy something for my table. And I'm not specifically saying it was them, but I feel like once you did it to like one of the kindest sweetest couples in the business got rooked and hurt by this, I just felt like the domino effect happened. I hope I haven't overstated all of this.
My only question is there really 250 or 350 exclusives?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so don't worry about it. Dude,
200 of them have.
They're not many of them are actually exclusive to the con, are they? So it's like you can get them.
Exclusives like facsimiles or facsimiles. But 200 of them are foil or spot foil, probably, because that seems to be the thing. Is like a billion foils or spot foils, and most of them are spot foil or foil reprints of books that already have been out that they've already made their money off of and paid for, so they're really raking in the dough. But the fallout from all this, after this whole scenario here with Peach, I'd be surprised if Peach comes back to NYC for a while.
I can't believe that she's come back at all after the first year. The first year was so bad. It was so bad.
After this, no, she'll be done. She'll be like, forget it. Americans are ridiculous.
Unless there's a contractual situation, I can't see why she would want to come back.
Well, no, I mean, she works for Marvel, so they'll probably just keep her now for like San Diego or something where they can control that, try to do better controls and stuff in place. But
Rob, you go to a lot of cons on the West Coast. Have you ever has this ever sort of happened in the cons you've been to, or is it?
None that I've been to, but then I don't go to San Diego. I don't know if San Diego Comic Con's ever had anything like this. I'm sure there probably is some minor scuffles over some super great exclusive and stuff. But at the end of the day, I've never heard anything like this. But then again, I probably won't pay attention.
Rich, there was another incident with Peach at New York Comic Con where there was a big sort of stampede and problems in the queue, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Americans making great names for themselves.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could happen here just as easily. It just sort of hasn't, to the best of my knowledge.
Well,
to be fair, we pride ourselves on our ability to queue. So,
yeah. I mean, that makes it into movies, for God's sakes.
Exactly.
But I mean, you guys don't have situations like when big sales go on where people take the doors down off the store and stampede in trying to save $35 on a television, do you? I only see really. Video of that here in America.
No, I mean it sort of happened during the pandemic era for a brief period of time.
I need toilet paper. Got it. Right.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, no, that doesn't happen. Okie dokie. Any other business? Well, I would like to say that right now, as far as I know, it's the last moment that you can vote in the CBC Awards. So go to, I want to say it's cbcawards.org. Is that right?
That's 100% accurate, sir.
Okay. You don't have to vote for me. You don't have to vote for any of us, but vote for whoever you like the most. And make sure you do, because it's fun. It's a fun thing to do for everybody involved, whoever wins.
It is.
You vote for your king. Wait, you don't vote for a king. Wait, no.
This is true.
Listen, I think it's fun.
How do you choose a king?
I do not know how, even at year one, because I've dug through the YouTube archives and I've seen reactions at year one where people blatantly did not understand so many videos with who the hell is Brian LCS? What does he think he's doing? I'm like, he's trying to have fun and do something nice. Why is it this attitude, this question? It's basically the MTV Video Music Awards. It's like, here are your nominees. Go vote. And we even have a nomination window. Like, I don't know. I think it does a great job of exposing us to new channels. I mean, obviously, I'm very proud. I feel like those awards helped introduce me into the community last year. Not to mention I worked my ass off for this. And so I have never terrorized so many people in my personal life to vote for anything. But I had a good time.
Yeah, well, nobody can say you didn't go after it 100%. I admire it very much. I think it's just really a fun thing to do for people, because like a little bit of my thing was I did win last year, but what I cared about is feeling like people like cared enough to put me in the conversation with these other channels, which is really nice.
Oh, you made the conversation, baby. You made the conversation. You
don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Yes.
You got to represent the UK.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I will say that if there's one thing I do on my channel, it is unbox things. So I feel like it's fair.
Well, there's two things that you do on your channel.
Yeah, the bad jokes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, Grey Man. Like, because it is, at the end of the day, it is a popularity contest in a certain way. But I just feel like it, as long as you don't take it seriously, other than to spotlight other channels, really. That I do take that seriously. I think it's important that everybody gets exposed.
It's fun. So I mean, it's. I mean, the people you can be okay, great, whether you're a fan of it or not. But I mean, it's intended to be fun and build a group, and that's what is like. There's no like ulterior motive there, like to try to say that these are the end all be all. But I mean, anytime you try to do something like this, and I told Brian like when he first came with the idea, and I was like, oh, dude, do you just like. What do you like walk around out in the thunderstorms with a lightning rod up in the air and saying blasphemous things or something? Because that's what you're basically you to do this. And I applaud him that he's kept with it, because he gets a lot of grief, and not just about I don't like the way you do it or I don't like the result, but there's a lot of it that's just like you've got something else that's going on and stuff, and there's got to be some kind of weird ulterior motive or whatnot. And it's just like, hey, you know what? It's just for fun. And sometimes, yeah, look, and sometimes popularity is going to play a thing, because look, that's any election. People vote for, people, if people don't take the time to become informed of what all the options are, then they vote for what they know. And whether or not that's people that they're friendly with, or it's just the biggest channel whose name they've heard. They go, well, I've heard of that channel. That's how people become elected year after year after year when they do a crap job being as a politician. It's like, well, it's the name I know because they've been there forever. So I'll just keep voting for them, even though they're no good. So, it happens. But at the end of the day, it's just for fun. let's have some fun
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Tony, what you got
Yes,
coming
sir.
up on your channel?
Well, in about an hour, it's a new episode of End of the Comiverse. We'll hang out and talk about whatever we feel like talking about. And then later on tonight, me and the wife are going to watch Needful Things, and it's going to be another week of watching horror films. And then next Saturday's episode of End of the Comiverse is going to be about what is your favorite scary movies. So that's what I got.
Tremendous.
And be back here next Saturday for the Parliament of Mouths.
All my baby
I hope
home
so.
movies.
I full disclosure, will be going to a thing during the day next Saturday, and it depends how many drinks I have as to whether this will happen or not. We'll see.
That'll be when it's the most fun.
I'll just say something stupid then, which is never good. No, nobody wants it that way. Cliff,
Because he won't have to go to his, so he have another week before he has to go back to work. So,
yeah, I mean that is true. Yeah, Cliff, what have you got on this week?
Oh, this week, well, the usual. You know, God knows where I'll be tonight, whether it'll be with Mad Spidey or Boggs's birthday celebration or both. And then tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, is the Council of Comics, and we're doing The Conjuring for our movie night. And Mondays, 8 p.m. with the Council, New Keys and Hot Comics. Wednesdays, live with the Council, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, once again, for New Comic Book Day, and that's where we have our little skits and stuff. And Saturdays at 10 a.m., Comics and Coffee with Cliff. This morning I had Nate, who's Whole Yak Comics on YouTube. Go check him out. We had a wonderful time. Next week, I'm going to have Broke Boy Comics. It's going to be great. And the week after, it's going to be Fable. And I'm booked right up into December. And then I got to straighten December out, you know. And then, you know, maybe if I'm lucky, I'll show up on Only Slabs in January. It'll be a great time.
Oh, tremendous! Are you booked, as it were?
I may or may not. There we go. Oh.
So I don't know why he's being coy with it.
Because I don't want to overstep other people's toes. So like if you're like I haven't made the release date yet.
Well, you haven't made the thumbnail lineup. That's January. It's a little far out.
I got to remember to take about 20 or 30 new pictures to send you for the next thumbnail.
Or you can do one.
What you didn't like the selection I sent last time?
You send me too many, I'll just reuse the one I used before.
Okay, I'll send two. I'll send two.
You can just make sure they're tasteful this time.
There was only one that wasn't tasteful, and you know it, and you didn't use it.
It's true.
Omnibo used it.
What was it? It was a damn double Polaroid. What was I going to do with that?
I don't know, but you could always save it for you and the wife.
All right, I got to run. I have a call with my family here in.
Okay, mate. Thank you very much for coming on.
Usual stuff. I unbox stuff, and then we'll have somebody showing slabs off next Saturday. Steve the Voice White. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Tremendous. Thank you, sir.
Look at Rich telling me no duplicates. I know no duplicates. I know no duplicates, baby. I am ready. I've been collecting. Bye, Mike.
I haven't seen Mike in a little while. We need to do another show with him. He's awesome. For myself, I will be on Comiverse with Tony in just under an hour. And then there will be an unboxing video on Monday. However, I have not shot it yet. So unless something goes wrong, if something goes really wrong tonight, then it should be that we have an unboxing and it's going to be a banger. I have 2 slabs sat in the hallway, and they're pretty cool. I'm really happy, and also, eventually fearing for my life, because sooner or later the wife is going to kill me.
It's going to happen.
Yes. It could. So the plan next week is hopefully to still have a Parliament of Mowls, but I can't guarantee it because it is a special day during the day. Well, thank you all for coming, and all those in favour of ending Parliament, say hoot.
Hoot.
Hoot. Oh.
I do declare this episode of Parliament of the Mowls over.
And I don't really know. Well, I suppose, no. Really what happened was, no, the thing is, rather than confront, I thought...
Skip to the end.